When people call and ask about being in the group, many times, even though I would say it on my website that what I mean by recovery is recovery of your true authentic self, they think that what it is about is recovery from some sort of an addiction. And while that may be true for some of you, or all of you even, in some way, that there may be an addiction in your past or in your history or even in your present that you're dealing with, it's not the addiction that we're here to recover from. It's not any of the strategies that we've used in order to survive our past. It's the loss of self. It's the loss of that true authentic self that we're actually recovering from. And what we hope to recover here is our authentic self. And what stands between the experience of authentic self and our actual experience of life are these old beliefs, ideas that we had to put together, we had to survive. Concepts, theories, and ideas that we just went with because nobody else was putting an arm around us and saying, listen, honey, this is a shitty situation. You're being treated wrong, you're being treated badly, you're not getting what you need, you're not getting what you want, and it's not your fault. We didn't get that. So we were left to make it up on our own. And if we had made up, oh, this is a shitty situation and my caretakers are incapable of taking care of me, there's nobody here to protect me, there's nobody, and we didn't know words like attunement, we didn't know verbally and intellectually what it was that we needed. We wouldn't have been able to say, this is what I need, where can I find that? We just felt that it wasn't there. We didn't experience it, we didn't get it. We felt desperate. I felt desperately afraid that out of the blue, for some reason, I was going to get physically hurt again. I never could seem to figure out what it was that would invite that kind of treatment, but I always took responsibility for it. I had to take responsibility for it because if it was all on my caretakers and my environment to make sure I stayed safe, I knew I was screwed. Deep down, I knew I was screwed if I didn't take some power here. The way kids take on power is by blaming themselves. And how we blame ourselves forms beliefs that could be thought of as hard drive programming that runs the computer. Our minds, our brains, our histories. We've only figured out maybe a tiny fraction of how to understand our humanity and our brains and our minds and our emotional and mental wounds and how to heal from them. But what we have found is this technology, IFS, that joins like shamanism and intuitive knowing that our ancestors knew and embraced in ritual. We're just learning again in this society, and I heard it said this morning, it was just amazing how this author said it, that we live in the belly of the beast of a culture that just has us washing away our true authentic selves. For us to recognize that that's what's missing for us is so unusual. If we look around our culture and our society, we recognize it's so easy to see. Nobody else is seeing this. Nobody else has identified that what's going on is we've lost ourselves. We're all just running through life, trying to be who we think we need to be to avoid being hurt and maybe even get some breadcrumbs of what we need. But we're just here surviving. The idea that we could, in fact, reclaim our true authentic self and actually find some of the joy. Find the joy that's missing. Find the connection that's missing. Find the resources that are built right in and access those again. That seems fantastical, especially in those days that we're really suffering. But my experience has been, there are moments at least when we experience access to those resources and we remember who we are. And for me, it keeps me going. It keeps me going even when things get challenging, even when I screw up, even when I hurt somebody, even when somebody misunderstands me, even when things aren't going my way. It keeps me going. And it gives me some scaffolding, like a ladder to climb up on and do the work I need to do to be able to get back to what are those beliefs that I formed, to explain life to myself in such a way that I could survive it. And are they serving me now? Are they true? Were they ever true? Can I now recognize that I do have the resources as the adult that I am that has survived all that, and that is no longer subject to the limitations of that childhood, can I make that shift? Can I help my young parts and invite them to be supported and joined here by that fully resourced version of myself, my true authentic self? Can I reclaim who I am? And that's the work we're doing here. And at the core of all of it are these beliefs. And they can't just be washed away through a cognitive process like Byron Katie have found. It's helpful. That really does help our parts. But we got to make sure that the parts feel invited and to the table, rather than just being, we can't just crack a whip and say, this is the truth, this is what's true. You must let go of that old belief. They need that attunement. They need that loving, caring, attuned adult. Who could possibly know better than we do what the younger versions of ourselves experienced?